And we're back with the show. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Thanks so much for watching and listening, everyone. Please go ahead. If you like what we do each and every time out, go ahead and subscribe today. Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your social media. We cover the latest news and trends each and every week, each and every day, in fact, right there for you, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. And one of the things that we always cover when it pops up, even when they are at the White House, is the cast and crew of Ted Lasso. And I had to be the bearer of bad news a couple months ago. I had to tell a longtime friend of mine, a guy who was such a great part of this channel for so many years. He was the host of the Fridays PCC Multiverse and did such an outstanding job. You can check out all of our great shows in the archives of Pop Culture Cosmos.
Yep.
But I did have to go ahead and be the bearer of bad news that Ted Lasso, his ultimate favorite show, a show that which he has stood by for going on 3 seasons now, unfortunately, according to Apple TV Plus and the folks behind Ted Lasso, the creative minds, I don't think Apple TV Plus liked that news either, but they said that this will be the last season for Ted Lasso. I still hear rumors of a spin-off here and there. I still hear rumors
Same.
of a movie here and there. You're probably going to see Ted Lasso again in some fashion or form, but the series-wise, it looks like it will be ending after this season. But here today to talk about it, good man indeed. Please go ahead and appreciate every time he's here, like we do. It is Marcus De La Garza, my good friend. Marcus, great to have you back.
Great to
Sounding
be
better
back.
than ever. But when I hit you hard with that, my friend, when I sent you the DM, because I got wind of it, because you know me, I'm always scanning the trade papers and the trade sites, and
You're always
it came
on it,
up.
man.
I'm
Always.
trying to be. I try to go ahead and make sure that everybody knows, as far as our followers are concerned, what's up to date. And I had to be the bearer of news when I posted that, but I wanted to send you a personal DM. Your thoughts originally when you heard that Ted Lasso, after season 3, in a TV series status, will be
Mhm.
no more.
You really broke my heart that day. But I do have to say, I knew, I knew that we were going to be coming to a close soon. I thought we were going to get a fourth season out of it, but you did break my heart that day. I have since come to terms with the fact that yes, this is a show that has a very limited arc, and Brett Goldstein and Jason Sudeikis are right for trying to keep this curtailed. It doesn't need to go 6 seasons in a movie. This isn't Community. We just need to learn some lessons and have some good laughs.
Well, I bet you it will come to a movie. I bet you there will be something down the line with a Ted Lasso movie or something extended for it. I know that spin-offs have been talked about, but I really think they're
Yep.
they're going to not just drop dead this Ted Lasso character unless he drops dead at the end of Ted Lasso. I think that this show, this series, which again you absolutely loved from the get go, I thought it was okay, and you
Yep.
really vilified me for it. I mean, obviously, critical wise and Metacritic wise, it's one of the highest rated comedies of all time. I've gotten into it after season 3. Getting into it 3 seasons in, I'm starting to really connect with the characters and
Yep.
see that this is really something special. It's taken me a while. It's been a slow burn for me, but your thoughts and your reflections on Ted Lasso over the course of now, what, almost 3 seasons full, on exactly what Ted Lasso's legacy for a streaming show. Again, there are other streaming shows that are also ending. Succession is also ending as well. It's run
Nah.
after 4 seasons. Well, that's also one of the highest rated
I know.
shows
Yeah,
of
yeah.
all time as well. But you see these streaming series 3 to 5 seasons long, and then they're done. It's not overstaying its welcome, that's for sure.
It's not overstaying its welcome. And I think one of the last things I said was that it's teaching us some life lessons and also giving us some laughs. And I really do think that's going to be the legacy of this show. It came to the forefront of everybody's attention during the pandemic, and with that, we learned some hard lessons in a time where we probably needed them, and also got some really great laughs at a time when we needed them. So the legacy for me for Ted Lasso is going to be the impact that it had on all of us in a very short amount of time, and the life lessons that it taught us. But really, it's profound to see the impact that it's having. Especially with the cast and being at the White House recently. You just mentioned that they were at the White House with the POTUS and FLOTUS. They each got a jersey. If I don't know if you saw that picture, but great PR for the mental health community, and I think Jason Sudeikis is really taking his moment to capitalize on the fame that Ted Lasso has, and trying to make sure that we're becoming better as not only viewers but maybe as a nation. So
and try to steer away from his marriage and relationship status and all that stuff. That wasn't that deal going on between him and Olivia Wilde. And I don't, this show doesn't really cover into those type of details, nor do I wish to. But yeah, it's been a really positive thing going forward for him. I think
yep.
now that he can focus on Ted Lasso and what that series is going to end up being like, I bet it's been more refreshing for him to be doing what he's doing right now as opposed to what was being done, let's say, this time last year.
Yeah, and I think that it's been awesome to see the way that the storyline has evolved. You mentioned that Brett Goldstein, or the writing crew for Ted Lasso, had decided 3 seasons was enough, and I think that he's got a great cast around him. Jason Sudeikis, that is, not only just in the casting department but in the writing department. So it's kind of awesome to see where they've taken this show in a very short amount of time. And I actually want to ask you, Gerald, what do you think the impact is here for you? Because this is a show that you were reluctant to embrace it at first, but you've gotten on board, and I think that merits a discussion as well.
Well, I'm not going to become as attached as I was Superstore, which I thought was
Oh
one of the
yeah,
best comedies of the past decade. And to me, I really thought that NBC just really dropped the ball on it, and it kind of just they stopped it short. I thought it still had more legs to go on, and the lead character also left for a long period of time. So yeah, just a lot of myriad of issues kind of whittled that show down, and I was really disheartened about that one. But with Ted Lasso, again, for me, it's a slow burn. I finally realized exactly now why the charm of the actual show is concerned. I thought it was a little bit goofy
yeah.
at first, but I really see that there's a poignancy and a seriousness underneath that tone that really people need to go ahead and consider when they're watching it. And I know it really got its charm amongst millions of viewers out there. So I
Character
am now.
development for me is second to none, Gerald, and that's really what
Yeah,
sold it.
absolutely. It just did a great job of that. And I think that's what stuck with me as I finally started to go ahead and catch episodes from season 2 and now into season 3, is that it's stopped being as goofy and started telling more story. And I think
Yep.
once it started developing the characters even more, like you said, and stopped focusing 100% and being reliant on being just a comedy, and which is still is a great comedy indeed. And for the most part, most of the jokes, they do hit on all cylinders. I'm just glad again that I'm able to appreciate it on its way out. It won't connect with me as much as you or many of the other fans are out there. But at least, like I said, I now at the end can finally appreciate it for what it truly is.
And I appreciate that. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as we have another Ted Lasso fan in the pop culture family, that's all that matters.
There you go. It's all that matters. I never said I didn't like it. I just thought it was all right at first because, again, with me and sitcoms, I'm really very particular about my sitcoms. It really has to go ahead and be very insightful or very smart as far as the way it goes about its comedy. It just can't put dumb jokes up there in a laugh track and expect me to laugh, because
Yeah.
it doesn't. There, you could sit me down and have me watch all the broadcast television comedies out there, and I don't think I probably could laugh once at something that's funny out there, because
Ooh.
it just the writing is just what you're limited on in broadcast television is really, really, really constrained, which is why I like Superstore so much, because it was just found a way to find really a connectivity with me as far as the writing is concerned. But when it concerns doing some streaming things, because it's streaming, you're allowed to do a little bit more. You're allowed to a little
Yep.
bit to go. Your boundaries are a little bit extended, so your comedies can go ahead and do a little bit more to a taste where I'm actually more able to go ahead and appreciate. And it's taken some time, but absolutely something I do appreciate it. But one of the things that has been talked about, my friend, is spin-offs, a movie. My money here
Yep.
in Vegas is that I'm going to say right now that I think that there's going to be a movie 2, 3 years down the line for some type of Ted Lasso movie. I think that's a given. What would you do as far as the spin-offs concerned? Because if you're Apple TV Plus and you're seeing one of your top-rated shows going off the air, you want to try to do anything you can to save that kind of momentum. What would you be looking at doing for a spin-off for Ted Lasso?
I just got done watching episode 2 of season 3, and I would say that the spinoff is looking like Keely at this point in time. You could do a wonderful storyline on Keely and her brand new business that she's curating for season 3 for us. We're really getting to see the development of her business and the people around her that she's going to be installing. So I think that it would be ripe for a wonderful spinoff. And I think that there was about 870,000 viewers that tuned in for episode 1 of season 3. So I think a lot of those viewers would tune in for the Keely Jones public relations TV spinoff. Should it ever happen, So that would be my choice at this point. But at the same time, maybe you could do a Roy spinoff, and maybe Roy goes out on a soul searching journey, a la Ted, and comes over to the States, and we get a little bit more comedy that way. So there's a few different avenues I think you could go down, but my money's on Keely right now. She's the fan favorite.
She's a fan favorite, but also is she the one that you think could carry a series on her own? Obviously, with an eclectic mix of characters,
Yep.
new characters, and maybe a couple old ones mixed in with her. But you think she could really carry a series on her own?
I do. I think if you had some guest stars showing up from the actual Ted Lasso series, so Brett Goldstein makes some reappearances here and there, the guy that plays Jamie Tart, and even Rebecca, I think that there's a lot of room for her and Higgins's character to show up in Keely's new TV show, should that ever happen. I would love to see that really develop because as a person, as a character, we've seen Keely overcome so much throughout the series. So I think that her getting her own spinoff would be a great look for her as a character, and I think it would be a great way to keep the rest of the cast engaged for that movie that comes out in 3 years, or whatever ends up happening there, Gerald.
Oh, I'm sure it would probably be a less turnaround time than that as far as a spin-off series. Apple TV Plus will probably, pull the gun on that as far as boom, they'll start that up as far as getting that taken care of. TJ Johnson's here. I have this to add this to my watch list on Apple Plus. I don't think you'll regret it, TJ, my friend, who also appeared so many times on the Pop Culture Cosmos. In fact, on our Monday shows. So I really think that if you are a fan of Apple TV Plus and like TJ, I think you should go ahead and add this into it. Just check it out, see what you think. It is one of Apple TV Plus's better, I guess, series attempts at doing kind of entertainment. They're not really dipping their feet full in. They still have a ways to go. Pachinko, of course, Severance, which is the all-time
Yep.
greatest thing to ever happen to Apple TV Plus, in my opinion. They have
Ooh.
some other things, movies that TJ and I have talked about as well. But I really think that Apple TV Plus has yet to really put both feet in the water, and I think that could be holding back why Apple TV Plus hasn't gotten off to a bigger platform than maybe some of its fellow streamers out there.
Interesting point there, Gerald. I would love to. I'd love to dive deeper into your thoughts on maybe even Severance. But
Oh,
should we?
Severance is the bomb. Severance was my pick for the top pop culture thing of 2022.
Do you know that I've pulled so many fans in Apple TV Plus with Ted Lasso and Severance alone, and I feel like I'm one of the reasons why Apple TV Plus is still a platform.
And that's weird because again, with all the Apple products that are out there, you would think, okay, maybe they had the bad deal with the U2 thing. U2 is my all-time favorite band, but
Ooh,
trying to
yeah, that
force
was a bad
feed,
look.
yeah, try to force feed every U2 on every single device. That was obviously a bad move in hindsight. Maybe they're afraid of doing something like that with Apple TV Plus, but I think there are many ways that they need to go as far as to expand beyond. I think they also need to increase their programming outlet as well. I mean, something that I ask a lot of these streamers to do. You need to go ahead and look at seriously as far as the content that you're putting out there, more quality, and then obviously trying to go ahead and put out enough quantity that will keep people coming back for more. But yeah, when it comes to Apple TV Plus, I really think that you will see more Ted Lasso, the spin-offs, of course, but if you were also as well after the season ends, and I'm going to go ahead and hit you up with one more last question on the finality of season 3 here in a minute, but If you were to look beyond a Ted Lasso series into a Ted Lasso movie or movies, how would you structure that out, not knowing what's coming up for the end of Ted Lasso in season three?
All right, so you said something very intriguing that got me thinking here. So you said that if Ted doesn't die at the end of the series,
If Ted
and I
doesn't die, get hit by a soccer ball and get keels over.
right, yeah, it doesn't pull the Danny Rojas, gets hit by a
And I'm
submarine.
just going to say it out loud. If he dies, it's because he wanted to kill off this character.
Yeah, and at
Jason
that,
Sudeikis.
yeah, and I think there's a possibility that happens. I think Vegas is definitely looking at a potentiality of that one. But should he not die at the end of the series, I think that maybe Ted leaves Richmond after they successfully remain in the Premier League and returns home to the States and coaches in the States for a few more years before making an appearance to rugby. I think that might be our movie. We got a little reference to it with Dr. Sharon in episode 1 of season 3. I would love to see Ted take on a new sport eventually, and I think that his coaching style is just universal. So, but seriously, if it's not rugby, he'll be making a return to the Premier League and coaching either his players for one more journey or whatever it is. I think that there's definitely a path forward for the movie. It's hard to predict, man. I think that if the Keeley thing takes off, great. We find a way to work that in. She becomes his PR agent. We develop a movie from there because somebody's looking for a new coach. What have you? We'll figure it out though. I'm excited about the future, Gerald.
I'm excited still too, but reflecting back, my friend, you are the biggest Ted Lasso fan I have ever met. And in doing so, I wanted to give you the fight exactly right there. Absolutely right there.
I've got a
And in
sign in the
doing
back of my
so,
office that says "Be a goldfish," just reminding me to be a goldfish. Sam, be a goldfish.
absolutely, you be that goldfish indeed. But before we head it out, my friend, I just wanted to go ahead and give you the final word on what Ted Lasso as a series, as the season winds down, the final season, what it means to you, what it truly, truly means to you.
To me, it means inspiration. And you look at Ted, and he went into the face of uncertainty, and he's emerged on the other side. Successful every time, remaining optimistic. So it's taught me a lot of life lessons in the last few years, and I think that I've tried to be the best Ted Lasso that I can as I've continued to progress as a person. So I would hesitate to say that without Ted Lasso, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I think that it's doing just that for more than just me. It's taught a lot of life lessons to a lot of people, and I think the legacy just is going to be that it was a great show, a great character, and hopefully there's a movie in another 2 years.
Absolutely. Well, it is Marcus De La Garza, the former host of the PCC Multiverse. He still is here and willing to go ahead and talk about, well, the Expanse, but doesn't sound like much is going on with the Expanse.
Ooh,
But
no, we've got a comic book
do we?
series coming. Yeah.
Comic book series. Okay, well, you got to give me the update on that when
Oh
it
yeah.
gets into your hands, my friend. So that would be awesome to hear. Plus, also Ted Lasso. He's coming back whenever he can. It's always great to have you, Marcus, here. I truly appreciate all the time that you have taken for me as far as doing the show. Just doing that for so many years with me, but also just been so incredibly gracious to me as far as coming back now to talk Ted Lasso, your thoughts. You're being that goldfish, my friend. You're being that goldfish. So that you just go ahead and continue to be that goldfish. It is Marcus De La Garza. Please go ahead and check them out. Our entire archive of shows on the PC Multiverse for years. You could check that out right now at Pop Culture Cosmos. Marcus, it's been such a great time having you back. Love those old memories you and I are rekindling
Oh
each
yeah.
and every time out right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.